to give us something that both value. And so, to me, that story is both a story of others giving to you, but also a story of you giving your very real sense of loss to them, and they're being able to respond gratefully.
It's pretty impressive that way, isn't it?
You know, Thanksgiving is my favorite holiday. Christmas is tough. Christmas has a lot of baggage around it, and can be a really painful time for a lot of people, and the commercialism has been a struggle for many people. But Thanksgiving, the holiday, comes down to basically counting your blessings, giving thanks, and maybe having a really nice meal with people you love. And they haven't messed it up yet. And I love that, because what more, to eat with people you love and to give thanks for the blessings you've received and to share those blessings with others, that to me is the archetypal holiday, the archetypal reason to have a celebration. I just love that. I remember there's a spiritual writer named David Steindl-Rast, a Roman Catholic monk who at one time was in Elmira, in between Elmira and Corning at a monastery, and now I think is in California, and he wrote a book on gratefulness as the heart of prayer, and a line from his teaching has stayed with me. We tend to think that the happy people are grateful because they got what they like. In reality, the grateful people are happy because they like what they got. And I think it's a subtle but vital difference. The grateful people are happy because they like what they got. And for us to focus on that and making sure that everybody is in a place where they are grateful for what they have received is our job. To be people of thanksgiving, to be Eucharistic people.
You know, one of the first memories of me moving to Binghamton, I was standing in line at Giant, which is no longer Giant's, now Weiss stores, but I was standing in line at Giant, and I had just heard about, I had just learned about the fact that we rounded up for chow at Giant. And so I was, and it started me on a routine. So every time I go to Giant, I would put a couple of bucks in toward buying milk or whatever, so that other people could have the same experience of walking through the line and being able to afford a gallon of milk, But I was rounding up for chow this one time, and this woman behind me, she said to me, "I want to thank you for rounding up for chow. Several years ago, my husband lost his job, and we were living on my salary and unemployment. We had our car broke down, and it was the first time I ever had to go to chow. And I went to chow, and I got milk through the Roundup program." And she said, "I wanted to thank you for rounding up, because somebody is going to be able to afford to have milk now." That to me was an impressive thing to actually hear. First of all, she didn't know me from Adam. I was not the face of the Broome County Council of Churches. I did not know an awful lot about the community, but the fact that she took time to tell me thank you for doing something that I thought was just routine, a normal thing to do, she made my day. I'll tell you that much. And we can do that for each other, right? I mean, that's part of what being grateful is meant to inspire in us, is the idea that we can connect with another person and share Thanksgiving with them.
Well, and when you think about all of the stuff we take for granted, to be able to say to the person who is swiping the groceries, "Thank you for the care you're taking of putting this in my bag," to say to somebody who is sweeping the floors, "Thank you for keeping the floors clean." Noticing and acknowledging little things can make such a difference in people's lives. Just like someone saying thank you to you for rounding up for chow made your week. Saying thank you to somebody who doesn't know they're doing anything out of the ordinary can help them see the world in a totally different way. And I think we get too caught up in our own stuff. I at least walk around in my own head all the time and don't see all kinds of things I probably should. But to circle all the way back to the idea of giving thanks for creation, sometimes when I'm coming down the hill on Glenwood Avenue in the morning, I'll look out and I'll see Binghamton and I'll go, wow. And then for the rest of the day, I have a wow that lets me see people and things in a thankful spirit that I might not see otherwise. And so keeping our eyes open so that we notice the things we can be grateful for, it seems to me, is a spiritual discipline. It's getting out of our own heads and getting to where we can see the stuff to say thank you for.
You know, Mark, you were talking before about walking, and walking is a big part of your spiritual practices. I used to walk to the top of the hill behind BU Nature Preserve almost every morning. Wow. And I would see the sun play off the back of the hills there, and it always awoke in me a prayer. And at that point, the prayer was, "You mean I get to live here?" and that was my way of giving thanks for the place that I get to live in, that I get to call home. But you know, walking can do that for you, can it?
I think so. I think of another way of saying thank you in prayer is just to say, wow. Wow is kind of the equivalent of thank you. And we do live in a beautiful part of the world. I have a daughter who has a profound disability. She has autism and mental retardation. She's now 33. But she gets the whole thing about thank you. I mean, even in spite of her mental deficits, she has a grateful heart. So much so, it almost becomes inappropriate. I've been with her at dental appointments where the doctor is actually either cleaning her teeth or sometimes drilling for a filling, and she will not stop saying, even though he's working in her mouth, she'll say, thank you, thank you, thank you, except because he's got his hand, it's, I had to translate that for the medical staff. She gets it. She gets about gratitude. And she once asked, a lot of her talk is just kind of repetitive stuff, but every once in a while she says something that goes right to the heart of it. And one time I remember she said this, if you were you, what would you do? What a great question. And if we're going to be Eucharistic people of gratitude, what we're going to do is be grateful, to express the gratitude, and to spread the blessings, to make sure people have the dignity and respect and that which they need for life. I mean, sometimes my daughter is a way better preacher than I am. Well,
That's true. Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, and I, it's funny that you share that, because when I come out of surgery and I'm just waking up after surgery, I get this sense of euphoria, and I want to say to everybody, thank you is like I'm like talking with my wife, and the nurse comes walking in with my wife, and I'm saying, I can remember saying to her, this staff here is just an amazing staff, aren't they? We need to say thank you notes to everybody. I got to know your name. And so this nurse is walking in. I'm going, I got to know your name. And my wife looks at him and says, well, it's just him coming out of surgery. But the fact is, I think that when our guard is down, and when we get to allow that real sense of who we are come out, often it is grateful. It is gratitude that comes, that begins the whole conversation with another person, right? Yeah. So, it's important for us to be grateful people. Any other thoughts about gratitude and thankfulness?
You quoted Meister Eckhart, if the only prayer you say in your whole life is thank you, that would suffice.
It'd be enough.
That's right. And we're coming into the season where it's routine to give to others, but I think there's also value in letting others give to you so that you can experience that gratitude, and so that the thank you is a two-way channel instead of a one-way street.
Well, Mark and Kimberly, it's amazing to have you on Encounter. Thank you for being a part of Encounter today. And thank you for watching us today. We're very grateful for your presence. Have a great day.